天继续学习占星术第3节课。这本书的名字叫 The Only Way to Learn Astrology Volume 1 Lesson 3 The Planets。 那这一堂就讲这个行星Introduction. In this lesson, we shall consider the planets. The Sun, the Moon are properly referred as the luminaries, 就是发光体. But for the sake of simplicity, most astrologers refer to them as planets. Along with Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These planets are present in every horoscope, and their influences act in everyone's life. Students often ask, does the discovery of new planets upset the principles of astrology? The answer is no. Astrologers from ancient times have known that there were more planets influencing our life on Earth than they were aware of. The transuranium metals did not upset chemistry when they were first discovered. In like fashion, astrology was not upset with the discovery of Uranus in 1781, coincidental with the Industrial Revolution and the harnessing of electricity, nor by the discovery of Neptune in 1846, heralding a time of metaphysics and the birth of psychoanalysis, nor by the discovery of Pluto in 1930, just prior to the beginning of the atomic age, the rise of dictatorship and the rebirth of underworld crime. 这里就是有些学生问了一个问题，说现在我们的不断的有新的发现，在新行星上面有新的发现，这些发现会不会造成这个占星术的这个原理就是会跟他们不相适合？这个答案就是 no， 就是不会的。就是占星师从远古时代他们就知道，这个其实是有更多的行星是影响我们的生活的，应该说是多于我们所知的那些行星。他举了几个例子，就是说像这个 transuranium metal， 就是说在铀这种金属以上的这个就是属于放射性的金属，并没有改变就是说我们的化学这个科学里面的知识。那同样的就是在占星学里面1781年发现的这个 Uranus，它刚好是跟这个工业革命和这个电力的使用是重合的一个时间点。那1846年这个 Neptune 这个行星也被发现了，它这个又跟这个就是形而上学和精神分析法这个可能有一点时间点上的重合。那1930年的时候发现了 Pluto， 那这个时间点恰好是说就是我们这个核能时代的开端，以及包括这个独裁政权的崛起，还有这个就是地下犯罪的一个重生。Keeping the possible discovery of newer planets in mind, let us study those planets discovered thus far, taking the planets in the order of their speed, not necessarily the importance they assume in the horoscope, They are as follows. Moon takes 28 days to complete one cycle. Mercury takes 88 days to complete one orbit of the Sun. Venus takes 224.5 days for one orbit of the Sun. Okay, takes 1 year to complete the cycle of zodiac. Mars takes 22 months, almost 2 years, to complete one cycle of zodiac. Jupiter takes about 12 years for one cycle, about one sign per year. Saturn takes 28 to 30 years for one cycle. Uranus takes 84 years for one cycle. Neptune takes 165 years for one cycle. Pluto takes 248 years for one cycle. 这就讲每一个行星大概它的周期。When visualizing the travel of these planets through the 12 signs of the zodiac, please keep in mind that we are referring to the movement of the planets around the Sun, calculating in Earth time, with the exception of the Moon, which travels around the Earth as previously mentioned. The Moon is really not a planet. 就是还是讲这些行星的天体运行规律，就是本身月亮它其实不是一个行星，它只是围着地球转的，但是它还是把它列为这个，就像太阳也不是行星，就太阳和月亮还是放在这个行星的这个一个类别里。Each planet is strong in the sun, in the sign that it rules. This is a sign of its dignity. 就是每一个星座有一个主导行星，那这个主导行星就是对这个星座是有主导性的影响。这个把它称为dignity， 就是这个星座的 dignity. Every planet also has one sign, apart from the one it rules, where it expresses itself harmoniously. This is a sign of the exaltation. When a planet is in the sign opposite to the one it rules, it's in the sign of its detriment. When a planet is in the sign opposite to its exaltation, it is in the sign of its fall. Each of these positions will be listed in the study of each planet. You will also find a further explanation of the dignities and a table listing each planet's dignity, exaltation, detriment, and fall. OK， 这个还不大好理解。每一个星座有个主导行星，这个是没问题。Every planet also has one sign. 每一个行星呢还有一个星座，就是除了它主导的那个星座以外，主导星座的意思就是这个行星和星座之间是一个和谐表达的关系。This is the sign of its exaltation. 就它主导的这个星座就是叫做 sign of exaltation. 如果这个行星是在它主导的那个星座的对立面，那就是 it's in the sign of its detriment. 哎呀，这个是有点绕口，那算这个先放下，回头再来一些。 The moon's influence in the chart is very important because it is the closest planet to the Earth and moves through the zodiac rapidly. It represents the female principle, mother, wife, and woman. Generally, instincts, moods, heights, faces, receptivity, fluctuations, feelings, habit patterns, reflex actions. Its action fluctuates and changes, governs personal interests, desires, needs, magnetism, growth and fertility, the need to touch, impressionability and consciousness. Rules liquids, commodities, sailing, brewing, nursing, tradespeople, and the public in general. When you find the moon in the chart, shows where you are subject to emotional ups and downs. 就是月亮对于这个 chart 的影响是非常重要的，因为它是离地球最近的行星。而且它在这个星座上面的变化是非常快的，它只要28天就有一个 cycle。它代表的是女性的 female principle， 就是包括mother, wife and women generally， 就是包括母亲、妻子以及统称的所有的跟其他女人打交道的这部分。Instincts, moods, types, faces, receptivity. Its action fluctuates and changes. 哎呦，有点困。就是这个还是说这个月亮它是变得比较快，因为它一个 cycle 只有28天。Mercury. Never located more than 28 degrees distant from the sun. Considered neutral. Rules, reason, ability to communicate, intellect, awareness, dexterity, rationalization, transmission, words, opinion, and sensory perceptions. Its action is quick, uncertain, volatile. Deals with travel, especially short trips, brothers and sisters, children, clerking, speaking, writing, bookkeeping, secretaries, neighborhood activity, letters and mailings, means of transportation, trade, emotional capacity, and technique. Where you find the Mercury in the chart shows where and how you communicate best. OK， Mercury 是主导推理以及沟通能力、智商、灵活度、rationalization。然后下面是 Venus never located more than 46 degrees distant from the sun. Venus is a planet of love. In early times, it was called the lesser benefic. Rules, art, culture, aesthetics, possessions, partners, beauty, charm, good taste, sentimentality, sweets and sugar, color, harmony, poetry, painting, jewelry, singing, drama, and music. Venus' action is gentle and harmonious. Governs emotional context, tenderness, moral character, marriage, and unions of all kinds. Also sociability, disposition, luxuries, pleasure, and appreciation. Venus is a planet of love and sensuality, not sex. Where you find Venus in the chart shows what you really enjoy. Venus 的这个显形是代表爱，就不是那个情色的，不是那个sex 的那种爱，是那种感性的爱。就是你如果在你的 chart 里面有这个 Venus 的话，就说明你是很享受现在的状态。Sun rules the main expression of the individual. Sun represents power urge, personality, ego. Keyword is inner self. The main expression of the individual. 就是太阳是一个个人的最主要的一个表现 shows the quality of leadership and success. It represents masculine principle. The father, husband, and man in general. The sun rules health, vital principles, authority and bosses. Rank, title, high office, progress, dignity, energy, sense of identity and capacity for experience. Its action is fortifying and vitalizing. Where you find the sun in the chart is the life and heart of the horoscope. This is where you want to shine. Mars deals with your animal nature, desire and sexual energy. Shows ambition, force, power, construction, work, strife, competition, and death. Governs surgery and operations, weapons, war, accidents, inflammation, wounds and cuts, burns, scalds, violence, tools, iron and steel. In earlier times, it was known as the lesser benefic. Mars action is sudden, self-assertive, and disruptive. Mars can be used destructively and angrily, in a fighting way, or with courage and strength. Where you find Mars in the horoscope is where you expend the greatest energy. Jupiter rules wealth, leisure time, big business, and higher mind. Optimism, height, growth, morality, prosperity, and indulgence. Also higher education, philosophic reasoning, aspirations, sports, luck, long-distance travel, hunting, and fondness for animals. Jupiter is the judge, the lawmaker, and the helper. In earlier times, Jupiter was known as the greater benefic. Jupiter's action is orderly and promotes health and growth. Where you find Jupiter in the horoscope is where you often have good fortune and like to spend your leisure time. Saturn rules for discipline, responsibility, organization, ambition, capacity for a career. Limitations, sorrows, and delay. Saturn rules serious and scientific law. Older persons, depth, patience, timing, tradition, conventionality. orthodoxy, and the productive use of time. Saturn represents the principle of truth, of contraction, of solidification, of wisdom, and of aging. Its action is slow and lasting. Saturn is the taskmaster of the horoscope. In earlier times, it was known as the Great Malefic. Where you find Saturn in your horoscope is where you feel least secure and tend to overcompensate. Uranus rules inventions, originality, science, electricity, magic, the occult, light, astrology, psychology, X-ray, airplanes, and insight into nature's law. It's futuristic, humanitarian, intellectual, eccentric, bohemian, egotistical, and utopian. It also governs creative power, creative will, sudden change, revolution, and dictators, individualism, ingenuity, rebellions, and autonomy. Its action is sudden, unexpected, and often violent. Uranus is a breaker of the traditions. It's neutral and sexless, and considered by many to be the upper octave of Mercury, and the first of the transcendental planets. Recent research also associates Uranus with natural disasters, particularly earthquakes. Where you find Uranus in the horoscope is where you tend to do the unusual. Neptune rules maritime matters, liquids, music, movie, stage and television, glamour, dreams, illusion, spirituality, ideals, mystic hunches, and things we take deeply for granted in life without questioning. Rules, fog, portrayal, mystery, anesthetic, flattery, intangibles, fragrance, second sight, love of poetry, color, and dancing. Neptune governs drugs and drug addiction, alcoholism, hypochondria, sleepwalking, trances, hypnosis, immateriality, and abnormality. Neptune's action is subtle, gradual, and sometimes insidious. It is the higher level. It is the higher octave of Venus and the second of transcendental planets. Where you find Neptune in a chart is where you tend to deceive yourself or others. It's also where you seek the ideal. Pluto traditionally rules the underworld and that which is hidden from view, including the unknown world within you. Your submerged and subconscious self also represents all replication process like conception and printing. Pluto governs the masses, waste, and subvert atomic pair. Atomic power and crime. It rules phobias and obsessions, slow growth factor, tend to speak represents generation, regeneration, and degeneration. It exposes that which has been developed secretively or undercover. It governs vacancy, plumbing, dictatorship, unpopular causes, and exclusive. Pluto's action is slow, ponderous, and inevitable. It is the last. It is the last of transcendental planets and is considered a higher octave of Mars. Where you find Pluto in a chart, you will find the complexity. It is where you will have to solve problems alone and unaided. Earth is always the exact opposite of the Sun by sign, degree, and house placement. It shows how and where you meet the world. It relates to the physical plane and the mundane matters. It represents your mission in life. The nodes of the moon. The nodes of the moon. The nodes are not celestial bodies. They are points in celestial longitude where the moon crosses over the ecliptic or path of the sun. The moon's north node is listed by position in the ephemeris, and the south node is always its direct opposite, having the same number of degrees and minutes but of the opposite side. For example, if the north node is 10 degrees Paris 50 seconds, and the south node is 10 degrees Libra 50 seconds. North node, or the dragon's head, a point of gain, of increase and added confidence. It is where you take in and are given to, where it occurs in your chart. It is where you should strive for fulfillment. South node, or dragon's tail, a point of release or letting go. It is where you must give and or are taken from. Where it occurs in your chart is where you might take the easy way out. The planets. Dignity. When a planet is in a sign it rules, it's dignified. This strengthens our response to it. If a planet is dignified, you control your circumstances. Detriment. When a planet is in a sign opposite the one it rules, it is in detriment. It does not operate at full power and takes on more of the signs than the planet's collaboration. Note, the planet's coloration. If a planet is in detriment, you are visiting where you must conform to rules and regulations. Exaltation. Every planet has one particular sign apart from the one it rules, where it expresses itself harmoniously. There are the complementary forces are if a planet is exalted, you feel comfortable in a friend's home. Or if a planet is in the sign of if a planet is in a sign opposite to its exaltation, it is in its fall, because here it has difficulty expressing its real nature. If a planet is in its fall, you must stay inside.